So about that 9.2 announcement, video, overview, developer.
Well, there's been a kind of quite a few things. I mean, the video is one thing, one part of the whole deal, and I think probably the most important things are the interviews and the Q&As and all of that good stuff.
The juicy stuff is definitely in the interviews. But hey, it's Thursday. Welcome to OnCooldown, the weekly walkthrough show.
Thursday. It's Friday.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, I knew it was Thursday because that's when we saw this shit, okay? But the video comes out today. Right now, we go deep into it. Yes, we've read the interviews. We went through the video. There's a lot to unpack here, so just strap on.
Sit on side. Strap on. That's what I got for my birthday. What? Let's go. I probably have an unpopular opinion. Which one is this? This is hello, hi.
Hey.
So, okay, my first feeling was this all looks very good, like the Azeroth Mortis and the designer, like once again, the art team is unparalleled in their skill. I'm not a fan of the direction that it's going in, but I guess it's kind of unavoidable at this point when Shadowlands, it's like the world is amazing. The concept art reminds me of Nagrand, but like scaled to like fantasy levels, and it kind of brings me like a Magic the Gathering feeling, which I'm a big fan of the fantasy of Magic the Gathering, and it's kind of hard not to see the parallels between us going to so many worlds and going into Azeroth Mortis. That's all fine and dandy. It doesn't really feel Warcrafty anymore, and maybe this is just the bullet that we have to bite until 10.0. Maybe that's just me, who knows. Other than that, it's a lot of Titan-y vibe in the sense that it feels kind of like like Force Unleashed, where these supreme beings that at the time of their introducing into the lore were the best of the best. They made the zone, and they left behind some lieutenants to take care of the zone.
I guess in terms of like how it looks and feels, it's sort of a compromise, I believe.
I guess if they're ever gonna do this, I mean, this is probably how they were gonna do it.
I think we mentioned this before in our 9.2 video and in previous videos as well. We don't really give two shits about this story, and I guess they could not just go, oh, forget about this, we're going back to what you guys want. They had to conclude this bullshit ass story in some way.
We'll see, because one point that I wanted to make, and this goes back to the Towley kind of leak where he says that 10.0 is going to be different. We did have Steve Denuser and I think a couple of other people saying that this concludes a chapter of Warcraft. We can unpack what that means, but it's clearly clearly suggests that, you know, after this we're gonna have something that's different. So again, it kind of fuels that little leak that we had. So that's maybe a little bit promising.
Yeah,
we'll see.
The 10.0 premises are there, but just to dwindle upon, you know, what they had to do with the material they worked with and introduced to us in Shadowlands. So this, I kind of vibe with this whole concept of visiting this place where everything kind of originated. They, you know, when you talk about the Titans, we didn't really see their homeland or didn't really see what they were up to, right? We just got to see them in the Pantheon, you know, with the Legion expansion and all. But here you can actually see this world, and what really kind of got me in a good way was you'll actually encounter alpha versions of different creatures or characters, and it's something that they borrowed, I know, from other places. That's all fine, but it has its appeal. That's
actually a neat spin on things. This, I mean, in terms of design, it looks good, and it obviously it will sound good, and, you know, walk on water and stuff like that. If we put that into the concept of the world, it's a little bit scary in the sense that it puts the scale of the story to like extremes, like where are we gonna go from here, right?
Well, that's my big question mark, is no, we're not going anywhere. This is it, okay? That's the thing, because I mean, this is the primordial planet that predates Titans,
the progenitor,
and everything.
of the whole Warcraft universe.
Yeah, and if we look now, this is like basically a screenshot of that weird ball that actually creates afterlives.
Forge of Origin. No, not Forge. Some.
When I saw it in the trailer, it was really cool, and this is basically the thing that creates afterlives.
Reminds me of Destiny.
Yeah, a lot of people said this. They kind of went the Destiny route a bit, but yeah. So just judging by the overview of the 11-minute video, it was not a lot in terms of systems. What the feedback was.
I mean, that was
really,
never gonna be a thing. I don't think I was surprised to know that they had anything to announce to begin with.
It's. I mean, just giving them the benefit of the doubt. Nobody expected an announcement, like not at least before the previous interviews with Ian and whatnot. So in terms of like what they shown over there, we were kind of like, meh, okay, fine. It looks cool. Obviously,
let me just preface by saying this would be an amazing concept for an expansion on of its own, because this seems like a very big world. This seems like a very complex concept to go through in just one patch. So I really hope that they flesh it out, whatever. A little
flush
bit
it
more.
out. Goddamn toilet.
But then again, if you look at Korthia, I mean, their precedent doesn't really give them a lot of credit. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean,
I think Korthia was a compromise for sure. It was like, okay, let's do something fast.
They will have a lot of time, because they probably have been working this for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And they will.
We'll see. I mean, I'm expecting the PTR to be dropping.
They mentioned
by next week. It's in a couple of weeks. But okay, let's get into the actual stuff that they talked about within the interviews, because they had this weird way of announcing all of the, let's say, changes or a couple of the features that are coming within, like, spread out into different interviews. And MMO Champion obviously did a great job of combining all of them, and Wowhead too. But I think we'll start it off with things that really got the crowds going on talking. Double Legendaries confirmed, but with a twist. The thing everybody was afraid of is happening. Now, double Legendaries.
You mean the Covenant Legendaries?
Yes, you can only have, you're going to have 2 Legendaries, okay, but one will mandatorily have to be a Covenant Legendary, while the other one will be the choosing of your...
I know, that kind of takes away a little bit from the versatility. I can kind of give them that, because I can imagine how hard it would be to balance. Plus, they created a Covenant. I mean, it was very hard not to...
Oh, you want me to feel bad for them now?
No. But I meant as in, if I have to make like 5 compromises, I'm fine with this being one of the compromises.
Okay.
Among those 5, because they clearly created... I mean, pretty much most people who saw the Covenant Legendaries initially in the 9.15 beta, there's like, oh, is this what we're going to have for the second Legendary? Is like, the people kind of figured this out. And of course, it kind of dials down the combinations that you can have. But if you really think about it, there was only going to be like 1 or 2 anyway, the best ones.
Yeah, let's read a bit what Ian had to say here. So, is the legendary item system supposed to endure in Eternity's End? He said, yes, players will have access to new level tiers for legendary items. The materials required to upgrade these items will no longer come from Torment, the Tower of the Damned, but from Zed Mortis directly. Really good, because if they would have had us go back into the fucking Maw and back into Torghast to craft the materials, no. Zereth Mortis, the whole new zone, that's it. That's a good thing. Cosmetics and other things will always be available in Torment, but we have a feeling that the requirement to go through this tower every week to gradually gain power is something our players want to see come to an end. No shit! So that's what we're offering. In addition, with their advance in Zereth Mortis, players will have the opportunity not only to equip the legendary item linked to their congregation, but also any other legendary simultaneously. You will therefore be able to wear 2 legendaries items at once, one for each category at the end of your journey. I do want to add to this, there was another interview with I think a Chinese or Korean magazine where it has been confirmed that once you unlock the possibility to wear 2 legendaries, it's going to be a compound.
So yes, thank you.
That's
I'm glad
that
they're taking this concept further.
Yeah, only thing worrying here is that there's still a lot of like Covenant legendaries for a lot of specs that are like bad.
They're pretty bad. Well, I would
hopefully
expect
tuning will fix that for 9.2, hopefully, because if they're putting the money on this, better make it work. So more development on the double legendaries for sure as we go to the PTR and feedback and whatnot.
There's plenty of time to test it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. One exciting thing that I actually found really cool, and it did touch upon one of the theories I had regarding what they should do with solo queue. It's the actual solo shuffle, they call it, for 9.2. So let's read what Morgan Day had to say about this, and we'll discuss it a little bit. So Morgan Day said, I love PvP, and we had reintroduced Conquest and Shadowlands, blah, 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 blah. We often get requests about queuing for rated PvP solo. Okay. that has many challenges, but we're introducing a new PvP Brawl with Eternities and update as our take on what solo queue in WoW could look like. It's called Solo Shuffle, and we want players to give us feedback and see if it's a feature we can permanently add. The idea is that we take 6 players, throw them in a pool, and have them fight in a 3v3 arena match, 3v3 arena matches in every possible combination you could from among those 6 players. The one with the best rating at the end essentially wins.
Ooh,
this sounds really fun.
Is that like 9 matches or?
This also is in Lost Ark, by the way. This
alright.
I think they probably went for this idea.
Wait, okay, so how does this work? Are we just gonna have like 1 3v3 match per queue, or is it like
you're gonna
9,
have all the combinations possible.
So 9, what is it, 9 matches?
Yeah, I found it super fun. So listen, today is PvP night, okay? We're 3 folks, right? Or I'm solo, so I'm not even thinking about anybody.
All right,
right?
that actually sounds kind of
I'm
exciting.
queuing up as a solo motherfucker. I'm joining up these other 5 people, and I'm playing with all of them. And see, so obviously, more details are to come about on this, but in Lost Ark, that's super fun.
I can see this being like super fun if we could queue like a raid of 6 people and we just like shuffle each other and just battle each other out. That could also be some, but I don't think this is what they're looking at.
But that's not solo queue.
That's no longer solo. Yeah, but the shuffle thing is really cool. The solo stuff is really cool, and I guess that can be like, you know, the new, you have a 2v2, 3v3, and then you'll have the solo shuffle.
I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I did say that they should try something to be tested out in this patch so they can get the feedback and further develop on
it's nice
for a
that
proper solo queue in the next expansion.
Do you think they listen to?
I think they played a little bit of Lost Ark, but I'm happy with it. This sounds fun. I could definitely see myself going into this. A lot more details are needed here, but hey, good job for this. So. Really
step in the right direction.
Yes. Now a step in another direction.
What direction?
New character boost, baby. Here is the money, because
nothing new.
They had to go through it, but this is much earlier. So the thing with the boosts, okay, it feels weird that they had to put this. This wasn't announced anywhere. It just appeared. Maybe they announced it. I don't know, but this just appeared, right? So the thing with the boost is basically. Listen, y'all, we're giving you all this content to go through, but you can skip it for $60 or 60 euros in our case. I don't have a problem with it necessarily. I mean, it's everybody does whatever they want with their money. However, what I will point out here is that they introduced this way earlier. They would introduce it normally, but
judging in the last patch.
In the last patch, yes, exactly. So, and it's not even exactly on the last patch. This is live now. You can do it right now.
Okay.
In 8.3, this shit was added later on into the patch when you would boost, because it was basically more closer to the pre-patch of the new expansion when they would introduce this, right?
I think it's part of them cutting their losses.
This is desperation, my friend. They want that. No, they're in shit right now, and this is one thing they.
I don't particularly mind it. I mean, the thing is, normally in a new game this could be a problem, but WoW is like a 15-year-old game. I mean, maybe you have played through all the expansions and you're just wanting to play your alt with your friends. Oh my god, my Mythic Plus team needs a druid and I only have my rogue. Let me just get a druid really quick. Okay, it's not that bad.
I'm not the biggest fan of this, but I do understand that some people don't have the time to level through and shit like that. I do understand that part of it. It's just fucking a bit disgusting to me that they put this in right now, because it's such a sign of desperation.
Their timing is don't give a fuck. It's the same thing with the cat mounts. It's like right now when they need good PR, they're putting things that know that they won't get good PR for.
Yeah, because Bobby needs some new yachts and shit.
Yeah,
so get him those character boosts.
As far as I'm concerned, you either have no store or have store that has these kinds of stuff in.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Okay, now, big juicy part, baby. Tier sets are finally coming back. No surprise here. Obviously, everybody kind of knew that we're gonna get tier sets back, and we're gonna take a big dick on their appearances here. So we have Hunter, Warrior, Demon Hunter, Mage, Warlock, Paladin. Flame, do give your opinion since you're such a transmog whore.
Okay, for me, the fantasy of the game and basically the feel and the immersion of the game is a very important thing. Tier sets have always been a part of that because it reflected the kind of class out. People could see, oh, that's a Warlock, right? Worst club, but it's a Warlock. They've obviously strayed away from tier sets for quite a while. This is just a premise because I do have a point to make. They've obviously strayed from tier sets for quite a while, and they didn't want to bring them back, but we kind of asked them, and they begrudgingly accepted about a year ago that they're going to put tier sets back, and we can unpack their comment of, we think this is a really good time to put tier sets back. No shit. No, we've been asking for this. It's fine. But I'm not a big fan. I think I see where they're going with, and it's actually a good direction, but I think they just needed to go one step further. And let's take a look at the Warlock. Maybe is the best example for this, because that doesn't necessarily say Warlock, that just says a cloth. If they added like 1 or 2 fell elements or demonic elements or stuff like that, it can even be in the same color scheme, or it can be just that one extra color scheme, just to point out that that's essentially a Warlock. Then I would be perfect if they just did. I would be fine if they did tier sets like this further on the road. This is just like, it feels like it's 90% done. I want just a little bit more to feel like that's class specific, because it feels, when I'm looking for instance at the Warlock, it feels like it's an Ouroboros NPC, something like that.
I get you.
I do like stuff like the helmet for the Paladin. They really do more helmets. It kind of reminds me of this first tier of Legion.
Yeah, it is. Like a lot like that.
I don't particularly mind the dress. I mean, it's neither here nor there. I like that the boots seem to be plates. Finally, I kind of wish the warrior had a little bit more platey boots.
Yeah. The warrior looks a little bit like.
Look at the hunter. Like hunter is like what I'm talking about. If you look at it, I think is that like an animal head?
Yeah. It's sort of like
if they just made it like a little bit more, or okay, keep that 20% animal head on the helmet, and a little bit animal wings on the shoulders, and then okay, that's a hunter, right? Something like that. So they're really close. I don't know what the mage is supposed to be. I really thought that was a priest, but
no. It's a mage. So here's the deal. They obviously wanted to put into perspective a bit more on the theme of the zone rather than the identity of the classes. So they had to balance this. I think just judging by the look of these, they kind of tinted more towards the theme of the zone rather than the identity.
That's fine.
They still kind of retain in some elements class identity, but not as in previous tier sets that we had. So just judging by the looks of it, by the way, love the fucking rogue one. I mean, it's just
is that like a helmet with like a light mask?
Yeah, I don't know. That's
actually
kind of cool. Amazing. Yes,
that's
and I also like the shaman one as well. But the personal preferences aside, I think like since they stopped this and they stopped allocating resources for this since BFA, this is like the first step, hopefully, into bringing it back the full 9 yards. And when I'm speaking full 9 yards, I'm saying exactly what Flame said. Have it more that class identity, because it's really important. And right now, it's kind of like decent. First of all, I would just say I'm happy that tier sets are coming back, regardless of how they look or whatever. Because if you talk about BFA, then you didn't have no class identity whatsoever. You just had the generic gear for everybody, and that was kind of it. So take it or leave it. But they do look good. One other thing, if you watch the concept art, hopefully I'm gonna put it on the screen right now. Dude, the concept art for these looks so good, but it's so. I mean, I know they tried their best to translate it into the game and the models, but Jesus Christ, man. I think this engine by now could use fuck it, it's just a long daydreaming here. Nevertheless, tier sets coming back really good. Cannot wait to see the bonuses and stuff. And
this is the juicy part.
Well, still into tier sets here.
Yeah.
They did say that they want to bring bonuses that really impact your gameplay and your spec. So hopefully no reshuffling of tier sets from the past. However good some of those might have been, but if they manage to bring something really impactful and cool that will change playstyles and shit, I'm down.
I mean, that's to their credit. That only benefits them because it just adds a level of interest to the game.
Yeah. Okay, now are we getting to the real juicy part here?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Let's go.
So how are we going to get these tier sets? Okay, now this has been a spicy one on the internets and stuff, because initially everybody panicked the fuck out. Okay, but let's read what Morgan Day had to say about the tier sets and how you obtain them. So one of our goals with Sepulchre was to reintroduce tier sets, and the other to make it more satisfying for players by giving them more agency in acquiring their tier sets. Okay, fair enough, I like that. In Chains of Dominations, many players told us, many players told us that how they still couldn't get the shards or bonuses they want even after months of raiding. Yeah. However, we've made some major changes. Sometime after Eternities and releases, you'll unlock a Forge of Creation system and earn a new currency. This currency, along with an item from PvP or dungeons, depending on what you play, can be transformed into a tier set piece. Ooh. This is supposed to work like a bad luck protection for people that are continuously playing, or again, really important, for people wanting to make new characters, or as a catch-up method if you started late.
God damn it, man. How many times have we said this, man? We need the loot to be changed in a way where we have agency over what item we're going to be getting after the set grind. Yeah. I think this is I hope because they've announced things and they eventually changed it throughout the beta. It wouldn't be the first. Torghast is one example, but I really hope that they stick their guns to this. Because it definitely makes doing different content rewarding, and it definitely doesn't feel bad when you just loot another 252 chess piece in your Chains of Domination gear.
But
so
you know what? Do you remember how we got the catch-ups in 7.3 and 8.3? Check this out.
The vendor.
Check what he has to say. We normally might have patched this in a much later state in the game.
Yes.
But we wanted to introduce these systems earlier to give players a clearer roadmap. What a wonderful idea.
You know what's curious? Like all of the gripes that I have with the patch, this is gonna be so hilarious if this actually revitalizes the game and more people start to play, and we can have that little satisfying orgasmic moment of "we told you so."
Yeah,
we fucking told you so for years.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I'm not gonna read more from it because the main idea is, when we first find out about the acquiring of tier sets, it was basically from your vault and the drops from the raid, and it was like, oh my god, not again. Now I'm gonna wait for the vault to get my tier piece forever and shit. So this Forge of Creation system, which will come back after a little bit after the patch launches, which is fair enough because you won't have access
I would
to
imagine about a month at the very most.
Probably, I would think maybe after a week or two after the raid releases.
Well, usually the patch launches and it's two weeks pre-season, and then the season starts.
And that's fine. That's absolutely fine because nobody will be up in arms in the first 2 weeks of the raid. Oh my god, I don't have my 2-piece yet or my 4-piece yet. So it's all fine and dandy. Really, really good. Cannot wait to see how that goes. Now, another juicy information is in regards to the, how could I put this, raid release structure. So here it is. I'm just going to read it off and we can talk about it. Narratively, the Eternities and Raid tells two stories, one after the other. Our current plan for the release of the Raid looks like this. During the first week of the release of Eternities End, the Raid will not open. Beginning with the second week, the raid will open for normal and heroic, and the first 8 bosses will be available in those difficulties. It's an 11 boss raid, by the way. It will not be possible to fight the final bosses on any difficulty during week 2. This is intended to provide a moment to tell the story in a way that accounts for the passage of time between the events of the 8 encounter and the subsequent encounters. Beginning with the weekly reset of week 3, all bosses will be available on normal, heroic, and mythic difficulties. This will also be the opening of the first wing of the raid on the Raid Finder. Now, what is really important here is finally they will be able to tell correctly and in right pacing a great story. The story.
Well, whatever the story is, okay.
Not a great story. Just the story they want to put. Okay.
This is definitely something. I don't know if they've done this before. I don't think they've done this before.
First time.
I don't mind this change, especially since all of the bosses will be available for the mythic difficulty, which is usually what would. The only people that would be concerned about this would be world first raiders,
and they won't be able to do heroic last 3 bosses. So
yeah, that would kind of be shit. I don't know how they would affect it, but then again, if everybody goes to the same thing, maybe it's not that bad, and it would maybe make for a more interesting race to world first. We'll have to see. Yeah. We don't know what the last 3. I mean, we know that Anduin is the 8th.
Anduin is the 8th,
and Jailer is the 11th.
Jailer is the last. So we have
We
two
have
bosses.
10, 9, two extra bosses.
Yes, two bosses that we don't know what they are, who they are, what they're gonna do.
I hope they're impactful.
Which is
story
interesting.
bosses.
I love the mystery in that sense. I don't love the mystery is like, oh my god, you don't know Sylvanas.
I don't know if we can put like a little bit of a section here from the video with the new raid. I mean, the raid looks very interesting. I like the way that they're going. It reminds me of Karazhan in Legion, where you know the laws of physics were broken
all
and things
the
were
things
like
upside down and stuff.
That's
Plus, they
cool.
did say that this is possibly the craziest raid they've ever done.
And doing the most difficult boss that they've ever done. Maybe they're going to do that. I mean, that's neither
they said
here
this
nor
before, but in terms of like craziness, I can see them pull it off. Raids traditionally have always been a great I would say
I'm actually hopeful for the raid.
Yeah,
that's always going to be.
This is the thing, right? I think they also kind of borrowed this idea of structuring the raid release from Final Fantasy. I know they do that in a way. So again, guys, if they see things that work on other MMOs and kind of make sense in terms of like narratively delivering proper, because
I don't particularly mind that.
It wasn't too good of a job in previous times. This is actually interesting. It makes me wonder what they actually want to portray within the story. So really cool. We'll see what World First Raiders have to say. Now, one of my biggest concerns is this, because they talked about this within the video, actually. I think this is the only system that they talked about within the video.
The cipher?
The cipher of the first ones. And I think the concept of it is really, really cool. I love the idea of just going into a new zone. They don't necessarily... Well, okay, it's the soup of creation. This is the place where the first ones, you know, baited out and tested out how to develop universes and creatures and stuff. It's obviously we're not going to be able to speak the same language or understand each other with the beings from there, right? I love this concept of discovering, okay, and slowly but surely understanding what they're trying to say, how they communicate, all of that shit. The concept is nice. I love the fucking runes and the icons. It's cool. But what I'm seeing from this picture here, Mr. Flame, is currency and grind. And if this is gonna be their way of getting the content as they previously did in this expansion,
that's very...
it's gonna be fucked up.
I haven't listened too much about the cipher, but I can see from the little image that we have at the top right corner, there's 1,000. Yeah, that's the one currency. Those are what, bonuses? I would imagine, because they seem like some of them seem like selling points.
I think there are a lot of placeholders here. I think like the only thing that is actually cool is like the little icons from the left and a little bit from the material thing.
So here's my take on the grind, right? If we're farming that currency and we're unlocking whatever this is supposed to unlock, that's fine, as long as I'm not limited to how much I can unlock per week. I don't want that.
Steve in the video said that by unlocking more and more of these ciphers and understanding, you'll be able to understand the quests and the dialogue, and you'll be able to further get more quests and more things to do. And this really sounded like the gating bullshit.
It does, but I mean,
if it's not intrusive, it's fine.
It's just how they mechanically implement it, because I want to feel, even if I don't end up, let's say if they put a cap of 100 currency for whatever reason per week, and then you have 100 the next one, even if I end up only getting like 90 on my own, I don't want to feel like I'm capped. I want to feel like the world is my oyster and I can get as much as I want and I can progress at my pace, even if my pace is because the cap essentially puts like a psychological limit on you, knowing that, oh, if I don't get this 100 now, I'll lose it forever, right?
Yeah, so that's FOMO. It's exactly right. So I don't mind gating. It was done just so poorly in Shadowlands so far that this is why I'm concerned. This could be a really great thing.
We'll see. I mean, the
concept is cool.
They seem to be pretty open to feedback, so we'll definitely gonna be able to test these out on the PTR a little bit more. We'll see how they roll out the patches and what kind of content we have access to.
Okay. And for the last tidbit of juiciness and
spiciness, I actually missed this part, and I'm actually excited about this.
What the fuck? So everybody's up in arms about this picture from apparently Sylvanas from the trailer, from the video.
Looks like she's in Bastion.
No. It's from the raid. I snipped it and kind of zoomed it in to look a little bit closer. So this is Sylvanas with her soul back, and looking by how she looks now, it's either she's been taken into custody, was imprisoned by the council of whatever, Jaina and Thrall and everybody else. but she's in there at the raid, and she has nothing on. Interesting detail there on the hands, because it does appear that maybe she was tied up. What do you make of this?
Well, I mean, we can draw pretty logical conclusions to the fact that she's a war criminal, and she's probably going to want to be tried for such by both the Horde and the Alliance. But then again, there comes and I can give him credit for this, because this seems like an interesting way to develop a character. There's a specific character design where there's a moral dilemma here. Her soul wasn't all there, right? How do you translate this into a judgmental system, into a judiciary system where you can judge her and see, oh, are we going to imprison her, are we going to execute her, or whatever they're going to do? Because clearly Tyrande is not happy with Sylvanas. That's not a surprise. And what is Sylvanas' character too? Because I am still not biting the, oh my god, she thought she realized she was a pawn of the jailer.
That's bullshit. That's bad story writing altogether.
Yeah, that's horrible design, and I'm still not particularly excited about how the end of Sanctum of Divination is in terms of story-wise. But that aside, it depends. All of this depends on what she knows, right? What she knows, because what she knows can essentially justify her actions, her road to either be judged or redeemed. Because if she knew everything that the jailer was going to do, and then she just had the revelation at the end, and that wouldn't make any sense. If she didn't know everything and she thought she knew and she was kind of duped, however petty and lazy writing that sounds, that would at least justify her still being not necessarily alive, but being an NPC that you can interact with. So a little bit on the fence here, because it matters how they explain all of this and how they work on her character. And apparently, I think I read somewhere that Uther is supposed to guide her through.
Uther is gonna. They said that Uther is gonna play a really big part in this whole finale.
That could,
we'll see.
Could make Uther.
Can you imagine Sylvanas Kyrian?
I have a feeling that she's either going to die or come back with us from Shadowlands.
Yeah, but there's one thing that a lot of people talked about as well, and that's the first picture that I put on our thing here. So, this is the jailer in the raid, and Mr. Jim also tweeted about this. I actually seen them on his Twitter, and I thought it was really cool that he noticed this and really cool to talk about it. This is the jailer, and from his back, you can see there's a big hole in there, and Azeroth is just booming out of there. Now, I don't want to get too much into speculation here, but they did say that they'll conclude the thing with the sword in Azeroth. And I'm wondering if there's any correlation between this image right here and the fact that the sword is still in there. And basically, we haven't heard or seen Azeroth since BFA. And this is clearly a big chunk of Azeroth just going up. Either sucked or, I don't know, what could it mean in terms of like the visual? Is it just pulled out of there, or is it just bursting out? I think this is really cool. However fucked up the story is, and we don't like it,
it definitely adds a little bit of...
It could be something here,
of foreshadowing, and I'm a little bit skeptical when it comes to foreshadowing, because every time I see something like this, it reminds me of Pyromancer, and all of the speculation that he did, that they seemed so on point, and it just feels like sometimes Blizzard is foreshadowing things for like a cool story development, and they're not pulling it off for whatever reason. Maybe they don't have the time.
It could mean Magni will come up there. Champion!
Oh my god, you imagine hearing Magni from it? Champion! And everybody was like, and the jailer's like, everybody stops fighting the jailer, and the jailer's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And everybody's running away from the jailer to kill Magni's like, get the fuck away from me!
I can imagine like a scene like from MC Hammer, like an MC Hammer clip, like, you know, the thing is going like Azeroth everywhere, then fucking Magni comes, stop! Hammer time.
Stop. Azeroth time. Azeroth.
Just, we're not going to go into speculation, but I thought it was really cool.
It's a cool thing to point out. We'll see how they plan it out. I'll keep an open mind.
But okay, conclusions. So I'll give it a really fast brief from my point of view. I'm not excited about it. I'm hopeful about it. That means that you know, we'll give it our full attention, and we'll feedback it as much as possible. I do want to go into this new zone. I found it much more interesting and exciting than Horthia was, or even I would say the Covenants more or less. Covenants had their appeal at the beginning. I like the fact that there's no more renown, no more bullshit over there. They're probably just gonna tune.
They did mention something that
conduits.
Soulbites will have more shit to them.
Yeah, but there's no more renown, so they're gonna twindle more with the soulbinds and conduits,
All
but
right.
nothing to be grinded out over there. The big thing will be the double legendaries and tier sets, so I'm happy for that. In terms of like what is to happen, you know, with the story moving forward and how we progress to the story and all of that concern with the new Cypher of the First One system, that's iffy. But overall, my impression was okay, not hyped, but okay, maybe there is still something here that we can definitely look for. It's early. They did mention they're gonna have a lot more to show, so I'm hopeful for that. Once again, my conclusion, not hyped, but definitely hopeful. What about you?
Similar, kind of similar as well. I have a little bit of hope when it comes to all of the implementation towards the systems, because there are a bunch of stuff that players have been feedback for a long time, and whatever they do, whatever path they take, whatever else they announce or want to put into the game, as long as they listen to feedback, I'm pretty much okay with almost anything that they will do.
Yeah.
Because it has been proven once again that if we want to have fun, we kind of know what will be fun for us, and I really hope that this stubbornness of them thinking that they know the way that we should have fun is better than what we know. I hope this goes away, and it feels like slowly but steadily that is implemented into the game itself. We'll see exactly how the Cypher is being released, because that's I'm a little bit on the fence with that. We'll see how that will be implemented.
Yep.
But if they continue the trend with 915 and they seem to add like the currency gear and the aka vendor, the catch-up vendor at the beginning, more or less at the beginning of the patch and not at the end, they kind of know that we've been memeing this a while, and hopefully that's a good sign. As far as the story goes, the concept of Azeroth Mortis is an amazing concept. I just don't buy it from a Warcraft perspective. It feels like we've gone way too much into the cosmology thing. I'm not a fan of it, because that's not what Warcraft is about. It feels like too much like Magic the Gathering, and Magic the Gathering has decades of world building and character and story plot developing and stuff like that, and that's not something that you can just do in a patch. So I'm a little bit on the fence on that. I hope that this gives story-wise a good payoff to Sylvanas' story, to Jailers' story. I probably won't be surprised to anything that happens to Anduin. I don't think he's gonna have an unpredictable fate, but I do hope that after this can conclude, like they mentioned, they can conclude and they can go back to something that's at least Warcraft-y. That's kind
More or
of
less,
my.
they kind of indirectly confirmed that. So we're getting back to Azeroth.
That's pretty good. Then again, my basic conclusion is just listen to player feedback, man, because we've
Now more than
proven how
right we were.
No, it's not like we're right, because we're not.
We were right. Fuck it. We were
We're
right.
not morally. Sometimes
we
we
bring
don't.
the big cock in, and we were right. Come on.
I personally liked the concept of Torghast, and the way players played it and feedback at the beginning was amazing. They just saw problems with it that we didn't, and they changed it. And I think that's a good example as to how the overall design of the game has been in the last couple of years, where they figure out that there's a problem. They don't listen to player feedback because they think they know better, and they know better how to make the game, but maybe not what to actually make. So I don't know. It's
definitely hopeful. Just to keep it brief, we'll wait and see PTR and new announcements for sure. Now you have to let us know what you think, obviously, because I'm sure
comments.
you're gonna have a lot of opinions on this, or do you share the same thoughts we do? They have different approaches for this. It's fine. Let's just have a dialogue. Nobody needs to bash anyone over here.
But we don't have to bash the patrons who are amazing for supporting the channel. Thank you, dear patrons. And if you, dear viewer, like the kind of content that we do, I know this is a day late, and it's gonna be on the same day where later today we're gonna have the TLF.
Oh yeah.
But if you like the kind of content that we do and you want to see more coverage, because it is going to be a hectic couple of months, consider checking our Patreon page, see what's up there, because there are a couple of tiers that you might be interested in with a couple of goodies as rewards, so who knows.
Now, thank you for all the support, Patreons, and thank you for watching the video. See you later in TLF
Alligator
versus Flame and Marcelian versus the sepulcher of Mortis. Bye!
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classic or retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play WoW.